Hey, good morning, folks. How's everybody doing? Welcome to our next exit. We are right where we left off in the last video at Rondout Valley in New York. Let me show you, we were here about a month ago in Rondout Valley, and we went over to the gateway to Cape Cod, and we enjoyed that one. It's a little bit different park than the ones that we've been going to. While we were there, we went out on the Cape Cod. I guess that's a peninsula or something. We went all the way out here to the tip. The day we were out on the tip of Cape Cod, right in here was there was a shark attack on a kid on a surfboard, and it killed him. We didn't know anything about it. Apparently there's a huge amount of seals that are living here on this beach. They said thousands. We never saw any seals when we were on the beach, but we were up 5 miles north, I guess. But this kid was out surfing, and I guess the sharks confused him with a seal. Pretty scary thing. But anyway, from Gateway to Cape Cod, then we went up here to Wampatuck State Park. We wanted to go into Boston and see that Freedom Trail. We saw the Paul Revere's funeral, and on the trail they've got his house and just all kind of neat stuff. That we missed some of it because we took Tinker with us, and it's so crowded, so dense with people that she, when we'd be walking down the Freedom Trail, it was so crowded she'd get nervous because it's just people everywhere. And she did really good. We didn't have any issues with her, but we didn't walk the whole trail just because it was kind of tough on her. But on the way back from Boston, we stopped at Plymouth, Massachusetts, and that's where the Mayflower parked. That's where the Mayflower landed, and they got off at Plymouth Rock, stepped on Plymouth Rock and came into America, something like that, the story goes. An interesting thing is that Plymouth Rock, I think a couple of things. That's, I believe, the smallest national park in the country, and it's just this little space here that you see. And the city of Plymouth wanted to move Plymouth Rock up into the town to get tourists to come up to the town in a couple hundred years ago, and they dropped the rock and split it in half, so there was two rocks. After 50 or 100 years, they ended up putting them back together. So that's kind of odd.
It is the Great and Glorious Plymouth Rock. In 1774, the town decides they need to move the rock from this location and bring it up to the town center. Now, in doing that, they actually break it in half. It's not the crack you see down the center. What you see today is 1/2 of Plymouth Rock. Underneath the sand is the bottom piece. It's about the same size. Those two pieces used to be one big rock, but in that move in 1774, they break it into those two pieces. So the town of Plymouth decides that 1/2 is better than no rock. They take the top half and bring it to the town center, leave the bottom half here in what is pretty close to the original location. Now the top half stays up at the town center for over 100 years. The date is put on in 1880 by the Pilgrim Society, which is around the same time the town of Plymouth decides that they're sick of explaining why there's two Plymouth Rocks. They need to bring it back down here and reunite it with the bottom half. This is where legend says they load it into a wagon, they start to cart it back down here, and they drop it off the wagon.
But the Atlantic Ocean there is just beautiful. It was such a calm day. So we spent most of the afternoon there at Plymouth Rock and enjoyed that a lot more than we did Boston. An interesting thing about Wampatuck State Park is they used to be, during World War II, I think it was some kind of a military base where they had bunkers, and all over you see these big hills about the size, these big mounds of dirt about the size of our motorhome that they've just totally covered up with dirt and stuff. But they used to be storage things for ammunitions, and one of the workers there said they used to be Jeeps and all kind of stuff in there. But now they've covered them up, emptied them out, and then covered them up and stuff. we saw one that had some doors on it, and I opened it up just to see what was in it, and it was just a maintenance facility or something, I guess. But we enjoyed going in Boston. That's one of the biggest downtown cities we've been at since we've been on our adventure. And people would just stop their cars in the middle of the road, put on their flashers, and go in and do whatever they needed to do in a store or something, and traffic would jam up. It was just crazy. We didn't enjoy the traffic part of downtown Boston at all, but we did enjoy the Freedom Trail. But from there we went on up to Moody Beach. That's where we had went to a lobster deal right there at the campground at Moody Beach. They had a lobster dinner. I think it's 21 bucks a piece, and you got 2 pretty good sized lobsters. We're not experts at digging lobster meat out of the lobster shell, so it took us a while to get through it, but we enjoyed it. And they had clams, oysters, all kind of stuff. It was a good day. Some of the we were recognized. Some of the people that worked there had follow our channel and had seen our videos, so that was another kind of neat thing.
I've seen it.
Okay. Oh, have you?
Yes,
Yeah.
very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You see that? Yeah.
Mussels, I'm right here.
Don't forget your muffins.
Waiting on the day when we don't feel the same. We've come a long way. Don't ever let it change. No matter where we go.
So Moody Beach campground is pretty standard Thousand Trails campground, but the nice thing about it, it's only a mile or mile and a half to the beach, to the ocean, and they have a decent beach and a couple of beach accesses. And something we didn't know is Moody Beach is right next door to Kennebunkport, which is the summer home of President Bush 41, the father. And we drove down there. There's a lot of neat restaurants. We had us some lunch and walked along the boardwalk and all the shops. I think Pearl bought her a couple of sweatshirts and stuff, getting ready for winter. And then we drove, it's about maybe 2 miles to the home where President Bush lives in the summer. I think he's there. He wasn't there this day when we were out there. So President Bush made some kind of statement, and the news said from his Kennebunkport property. So that was kind of neat. And after, I forgot, 4 or 5 days in Moody Beach, we headed on up to Bar Harbor.
So it's just beginning on the colors. Just
Oh, yeah, I see some.
beginning.
So you think we'll get any rain today?
Well, it sure looks like we could. Oh, there's some pretty color. Look at there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty. That bright red is pretty.
That is.
People had told us about we wasn't planning to go up to Bar Harbor, but everybody told us that we had to go to Bar Harbor and Acadia National Park, and we're really glad we did for several reasons. But we went on up to the Narrows 2 campground, and we spent the first 4 nights. It was like $107 a night. We got a spot, the best spot in the whole park, really, right on the edge of the ocean, where we could walk down to it. The tide would go in and out. I got several time-lapse videos of the tide going out and the water coming up, and it came back in. I couldn't get any video. I thought it'd be beautiful drone footage, but we're right beside an airport, so we couldn't fly the drone. We were just too close to the airport. Couldn't fly the drone there. And then over at Acadia National Park, we did get to fly it a little bit, but you can't fly your drone in national parks. So we had to go outside the park and fly it. We got a little bit of the fall colors. It was really starting to come on while we were there. We was there about 10 days, I think. and the last couple of days the nighttime temperature dropped down into the 30s, and it just, that color stuff just kicked in gear, so it got a lot better. And then the drive back from Narrows 2 back to Moody Beach, that drive was just so awesome. We've got some footage taken while we were driving down the road. There's just beautiful color. I kept looking for a place to pull over and stop, or we could go fly the drone, because that would have just been totally awesome. But we never saw the perfect, you know, a really good place, so we didn't get drone footage of that. But there's some pretty good color just from driving down the road.
Lost again, going back around, dreaming of a time when I get things right. Lost in the shadows of a million stars.
That's like your Texas cowpoke days there, Bob.
Pearl. Shouldn't they at all just tell me where you are?
Yippee-ki-yay, okay?
From out of
Just like you're at Gillies. You're riding a bull at Gillies.
Send me a letter and a bottle of wine, telling me I will be fine. Baby, I'm stuck with a halfway heart. Slip away if I come too far. Pick me up when I'm in pieces. Oh, that halfway heart of mine is a rolling stone. Make me roll right home. Halfway heart. Halfway heart. Sing to me if I lose my voice. Set a better route if I lose my course. Count on my company and I will come. Save me when I am falling. Save me when I am falling. Save my love when I fall. Baby, I'm stuck with a halfway heart. Slip away if I come too far. Pick me up when I'm in pieces. Oh, that halfway heart of mine is a rolling stone. Make me roll right home. Baby, I'm stuck with a halfway heart. Slip away if I come too far. Pick me up when I'm in pieces. Oh, that halfway heart of mine is a rolling stone. Make me roll right home. Halfway heart. Send a little love, I'll make it back.
So that was pretty much Maine. Narrows 2, Bar Harbor, and Acadia National Park. And the couple that you saw there with us was Pat and Chris. They are the couple that own the expedition vehicle that we did the video on. And if you hadn't seen that, I put a link up here. The area, the Acadia National Park and Bar Harbor, is just awesome. And they're great people, great food, and those colors were something to see. We're now back in Rondout in New York, and we got a couple coming up this Sunday. Chuck and Cheryl, they've got a YouTube channel called Get Gone With Us. I'll put a link up here for their channel also. And we've been watching their videos and emailing back and forth with them a little bit, and they're coming through this way, so we're going to stop and visit with them. And I'm sure we'll put out some kind of video when they're here. So what I'd like to do between now and the time we get together with Chuck and Cheryl is, if you guys got any questions, put them in the comments down here, because they're a few steps ahead of maybe the rest of us, and they might very well have some answers that we're looking for. So if you got questions that you think they might be able to help you out, or you want to know how they handle a certain situation that you're trying to figure out, put your questions and comments down in the section below, and we'll ask them when they get here Sunday or Monday, and maybe we'll all learn something. So that's about it. We've got a lot more video of the fall colors as we was driving back down to here at Rondout, and we'll put those at the end of the videos if you want to stay tuned for some of that. But that pretty much covers the video. If you like the video, we always appreciate a thumbs up, and leave your questions and comments for Chuck and Cheryl. So until next time, folks, keep the wheels rolling, stay safe. We'll see you at the next exit. Bye-bye.